Listen, I know this sounds insane, but if the world ever collapses and you're stranded without clean water, there's a brutal truth you need to accept. Your body is sitting on a liquid resource that 99% of people are too disgusted to use, and that disgust is exactly what will kill them. Because when dehydration kicks in, when your tongue feels like sandpaper, when your thoughts start moving like heavy gears, when your body begins shutting down in layers, your brain won't care about pride. It will care about survival. And in extreme situations, urine isn't the worst thing you could drink, as long as you know the science behind turning it back into safe water. Most people think urine is toxic. That's wrong. The real danger is what happens when you try to drink it raw. The salt, the urea, the minerals your kidneys specifically removed from your bloodstream. If you put them back in repeatedly, you accelerate dehydration. But if you can separate the water molecules from everything else, congratulations, you've just unlocked one of the most reliable, endlessly renewable survival tricks that can keep you alive for days when everything else fails. Here's what nobody tells you. Your urine is about 95% water the moment it leaves your body. The rest is a cocktail of urea, salt, creatinine, hormones, microscopic waste, and whatever your kidneys decided wasn't worth keeping. But water doesn't care where it came from. H2O is H2O, whether it left a glacier or a human bladder. Your job is to strip away everything, except the water, and leave the waste behind. The method you choose depends on your environment, your tools, and how desperate you are. The most reliable? Distillation. And before your mind jumps to laboratory beakers and fancy coils, let me stop you. You can distill urine with trash. Literally trash. A metal can, a plastic bottle, cling wrap, a cup, a piece of tubing, anything that can trap steam and turn it back into liquid. Imagine this. The world ends. You're stuck in a place with zero clean water, and dehydration is already tightening its grip. Your urine becomes your emergency reservoir. You heat it until it turns into steam. The steam rises, leaving urea and salt behind, because those don't evaporate. Then you capture the steam and condense it on a clean surface. That liquid dripping off? Pure, drinkable water. You don't need perfection. You just need evaporation, condensation, and a container. And if you've ever boiled water, you already understand the physics. The danger only comes when people half-distill, under-distill, or get lazy with contamination. But if you're disciplined, the science works in your favor. But what if you have no fire, no fuel, no stove, no metal? Then you switch to solar distillation, which is basically forcing the sun to do the distillation for you. This method has kept lost sailors alive, stranded soldiers alive, and desert survivors alive. You dig a hole, place a container of urine inside, cover the pit with plastic, drop a small stone in the center, and let the sun heat the ground. Moisture evaporates, hits the underside of the plastic, condenses, and drips down into a clean cup placed at the lowest point. It's slow, it's annoying, it's frustrating, but it works every single time. And when the world ends, the things that work slowly but consistently are worth more than guns, gold, or canned beans. Now let's talk about the mistake that kills the most survival beginners: drinking the first batch of condensed water without checking the container. If the condensation drips down into a cup that isn't 100% clean, congratulations, you've just recontaminated your water. Another deadly mistake is trying to filter urine through cloth, charcoal, or makeshift sand filters. That doesn't remove urea or salts. It just turns your bad water into slightly filtered bad water. Your kidneys will hate you for it, and your brain will eventually shut down your decision-making abilities. That's how dehydration spirals into confusion, hallucinations, and the stupid choices that end your story early. You also need to understand the psychology behind desperation. When your mouth dries out and your body starts shaking, your mind becomes your enemy. Survival leaders call this the stupid hour, when dehydrated people convince themselves that just one sip of raw urine won't hurt. But it does. Every sip raises your internal salt load. Every sip makes your cells lose water. Every sip speeds up your collapse. If you're going to rely on urine as an emergency source, discipline is everything. Distill it properly, collect it properly, store it properly, and drink it only after it's actually water again, not a salty potion of kidney waste. There's one more trick almost nobody knows because it sounds like science fiction. Fractional evaporation. If your only tools are sunlight and time, you can leave urine in a wide, shallow container. The water portion evaporates faster than the heavy compounds. You place a clean surface, glass, metal, plastic, above it. The evaporated water condenses on the underside, and you scrape, drip, or tilt it into a new cup. It's low-tech, dirty, clumsy, but incredibly effective when your environment is hot, dry, or sun-exposed. Evaporation is your friend. Condensation is your savior. Your job is just collecting it without letting dirt or microbes jump back in. And here's something most survival manuals avoid saying because it scares people. If you're in a truly hopeless situation, urine can also function as the first batch for distilling other contaminated water sources. That means you can mix small amounts of foul water, salty water, or chemically questionable water with your urine. Then distill the whole thing and still extract safe condensation. Heat doesn't care where the moisture came from. The evaporation line is the great equalizer. As long as you keep the steam path clean, you can cheat death in conditions that would normally wipe you out. But listen carefully. There's a final psychological hurdle you must overcome: your own disgust. Humans evolved to be repulsed by anything that signals disease or contamination. But your instincts aren't designed for world-ending scenarios. They're designed for a world with doctors, refrigerators, plumbing, and bottled water. In collapse conditions, your instincts can betray you. Fear of contamination makes sense. Fear of survival, that's a luxury. If you want to make it through the kind of disaster that wipes out infrastructure, you need to rewire your thinking. Water isn't about comfort. It's about chemistry. Safety doesn't depend on the source. It depends on the process. When someone asks you, would you ever drink urine to survive? The correct answer isn't yes or no. The correct answer is, I'll drink purified water I made myself using whatever method I can. That mindset shift is what separates the people who die on day 3 from the people who last until rescue or rebuild.